Alright, welcome to the next part of our interview series. Basically in this interview it's going to be a little bit different. The last couple of interviews were really advanced of people who already made well over 7 figures, and this one is more of a beginner who made basically around 20k in the last month. For him it basically just started to really go well. We started working together a couple of months ago, and here I'm also going to give a lot of really important advice to him what the next steps are. Because when you find your first winning product, it's not that easy if you don't know what you're doing. If you have a winning product, there are a lot of mistakes you can do, and in this video I'm going to talk about the exact things you have to avoid after finding your first winner. First of all, I'm going to give really important advice about time management and what you actually should focus on and what the priorities should be. And the other part is going to be the mental game, basically how you have to think about everything to really understand what the next steps are and what to avoid, basically. So without further ado, let's just jump into the interview.
All right. So welcome, Sean. This video is basically going to be me talking to one of my students, Sean. We've been working for how much? Two months?
2 months, yeah, just a little over 2 months now.
Yeah. Basically, yeah, tell your story. How, like, what are you doing? How was everything before we started? What happened over the last couple of months?
Yeah, sure. So, hey guys, my name's Sean. I guess I just after starting dropshipping, I started at the turn of the year, just in January, I decided to start. It was something that I wanted to do for a while. And I suppose after talking with Michael is kind of when I started finding my success. I guess I started working with Michael like 2 months ago, so that would be at the end of May, like start of June. And from like January to June, I had pretty much no luck with dropshipping and trying to do it myself. I think I made about maybe like 7 or 8 sales and wasted hundreds of money just down the drain, not knowing what to do and doing everything incorrectly. And yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah. So basically, when you started out, did you already tried by yourself and you said it? So yeah, basically you said that you already tried by yourself before we actually worked together. And what difference did you see basically before we started to work together and after? So what were the results there, and what do you think were the key mistakes you did?
Well, I guess like before we started working with yourself, Michael, I guess like everything else, I was just starting watching YouTube videos, watching people on YouTube like Gabriel St. Garmin and like loads of other big dropshippers at the time. And I was just trying to implement loads of different strategies and take little bits of what I thought were the best from everyone else. So taking like little bits from Gabriel, little bits from someone else, and trying to make it work myself. And I guess I wasn't really having any success at all. Like I mentioned before, I think I had like 6 or 7 sales over like a 4 to 5 month period. I was throwing money down the drain. I was spending loads of time on pretty much irrelevant stuff, like loads of time trying to get my store speed down because I thought that influenced it, and like stuff that I was spending so much time on stuff that didn't really move the needle at all and get me closer to actually making sales. And I guess that's one of the things that's actually helped since I started working with you. Since we started working together, I've cut out all the other different strategies and I've only stuck to what you've told me. And pretty much I've stopped focusing so much on like the tiny minute details that aren't going to move the store forward, and I've started looking at the bigger picture and started like doing things that are actually going to get sales and not spending days worrying about like is the text right, or is this the right font or the right heading, because at the end of the day that doesn't actually get you any closer to sales. So I guess that's definitely one of the big things that I've benefited with working from you. Also, like
how much did you do like since we actually started? What numbers are you doing right now?
Well, since we started, the overall store that I'm currently on now is doing $25,000 in total sales, and I guess my profit margins are around 15 to 17%. So I think profit wise I've made about 3 to 4 grand
Okay.
$3,000 to $4,000 at the end in profit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, great for sure. Really good for a month, especially considering that you didn't have like proper prior experience. And basically, for you, you said that the main thing was kind of not focusing on the little details. So what do you think were the major things which actually made the impact and like led you to now finding a winning product? Because by the way, for everybody listening, you said you made around 25K, which is great for the beginning. However, we didn't really properly scale yet because you kind of don't have the best cash flow right now. So the main thing right now is to kind of scale slowly, and then when everything is going to be back with cash flow and you have proper cash flow going, then the scaling process is going to be much faster. So yeah, maybe also you can explain what kind of was the main thing which changed here.
Well, I guess before I wasn't focusing on like, the text or the video ads. Actually, I'll just talk about the products first. So I guess how I found the winning product was by using your research method tool. I guess before I had previously what I thought was a winner, I just go onto Facebook ads, see what was working, or what I thought was working, or like checking out big competitors of the same niche I was in, and just basically randomly testing a bunch of products without doing too much initial research into it. And I guess since I started working with yourself, you provided a very good like score sheet type of document that you fill out, and basically you give you weigh the scores of the product, and that will basically kind of give you some initial clearance to whether it's going to be a winner. So that's definitely one thing that's definitely helped with you. I mean, before I think I tested like maybe 10 to 15 products by myself and found no real success. And then since I started working with you on my third product that I tested, it actually turned out to be somewhat of a winner. And
yeah,
like you mentioned, the cash flow problems are the only thing that are actually stopping me from scaling.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe actually you can also share your screen for a second and just show the numbers, how everything went.
Yeah. Yes. So I mean, I guess today this is what the store has done so far. I mean, this wasn't even close to what I had done myself in like 4 to 5 months trying to do it myself. Like I got nowhere near like $500 a day. And I guess, so I suppose I mean, this week, no, I guess I'll go to this month. So I would have started working with you around the 10th of June, and we'll go all the way to the day. So the 10th to 10th, pretty much like exactly once. And yeah, that's what my store has done so far. It's done $26,000, nearly $27,000. It probably more likely will hit $27,000 at the end of today. And for the last week and a half, going on to 2 weeks now, I've consistently been hitting $1,000 per day.
Nice. Yeah, yeah. So basically 1K per day. Today you saw like €500 or dollars was like half a day. For sure, good stuff. And as we already mentioned, like the cash flow issue is the only thing which is stopping it to grow just way quicker. And yeah, that's basically going to be the next thing we're going to target here. But also, how is the profit? Show the profit tracking for a second.
Yeah, so I will. Profit tracking. So I guess here, if we go down to this figure here, this is the total amount of profit I've made. Now this profit's actually in euros. So if you convert it to dollars, it would probably be around maybe $5,000, just a little under $5,000.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like 4.5. And basically, if you
do you want me to go to today?
Go to the right. Yeah, exactly. Just scroll to the right.
Okay, and I'll just move this up actually.
Yeah, so you can see here in the last couple of days, it was anything between like you see on the very left 170 to 250 on the toes, very right. Basically, like between $150 and 300, it was doing pretty consistently, which is amazing, considering that that's like per day. And if we are gonna keep doing those numbers, so let's say like 200 euros, that's already 6K per month in net profit, which is really good. And then we're just going to scale that after the cash flow issues are going to be gone. So yeah, we can stop the screen share here.
Sure.
So for you, what would you say were the biggest learnings so far from the program itself?
Biggest learnings, I guess. Well, the first big thing would have been the products and what actually goes into picking or finding a winning product. Like, I really liked how much research you do before you actually even consider testing a product, which was pretty good. Learnings also just been able to reach out to you personally and get your guidance. I mean, you've been there and like you know how to run a successful store, so just being able to have that one-on-one conversation with you about when I'm having any questions or struggles with my store, just be able to reach out to yourself personally is pretty good. Also, another big thing would be ads. Before, I probably would have just done what a lot of people do, just click and like copy other people's ads, where you've actually shown like what makes a good ad, how to make a good ad, what I should do, what I shouldn't do. And I guess the results of that have been, my store has been working pretty well the last 2 months.
Yeah, for sure. And I would also like with your product, I don't know if you like fully comprehended so far, but basically the main thing which decided if your product was going to be successful or not, in your case, was the ads. Because with your thing, I actually know people who tested this product unsuccessfully. So basically this one is because of the ads 100%. And you talked to my brother, you kind of did like the ads together with him. And I really enjoy the ads. And for example, they don't really look like regular dropshipping ads, right?
Yeah, no, not at all. They're just like no spammy emojis. Like there's nothing that's actually saying like shop now, buy now. It's all just like you scroll down your newsfeed and this would just pop up and it doesn't even look like an ad to the customer or the user, which is, I guess, what makes it stand out.
Exactly. And it's it looks very natural. That's exactly my point. So it doesn't look like it's like super salesy, and that's what kind of gets the people's attention and gets them lured into watching the video. And then after that, you need to focus on the sales. The sales are going to be made later. The sales is not the first couple of seconds. Nobody's going to buy. Obviously, they just have to stop scrolling, and you just go like one step at a time. Yeah. But for you, what would you say are kind of the next goals for the next 6 to 12 months? Where do you want to be at here with dropshipping?
Well, I guess with goals, so I suppose starting off before I was working with you, Michael, some of my goals were literally just to make like $100 a day. I wanted so bad just to make like $100 a day, and now I'm at the stage where like I'm doing $1,000 a day in sales, and like 200 euros of that some days is just pure profit. So I guess that's a pretty nice feeling. That was my goal at the start, and I guess my goals for the next 6 months till towards the end of the year and for the next 6 months and further on would just be to try scale the store more. I mean, once my cash flow issues are sorted out, that I want to try get this store to $10,000, like $10,000 in sales a day and like 1K profit. You know, I'd love to be at the stage where I'm earning 1K profit a day and it's just my money and I can spend it how I want.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be one goal, to get to about 1K in pure profit a day. And then I'd also like to have another 2 to 3 stores generating me more income and not just relying on this single store, because like, as you know yourself, a store can just die with no warning. So I want to be in the position where if the store I'm working on now currently dies, well, that's going to be okay, because I'll have 2 or 3 other stores, so I don't need to worry about just if one dies.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, okay, good stuff. And what was the kind of the feeling for you, or what went through your head when you finally, like, when the first time it started to do really well and you started to make profits and you saw those numbers?
I actually can't describe the feeling. Like, for so long, for so many months, I just wanted to get like $100 a day, like more than one sale a week. And then like after working with you, like after this store was up and running, I mean, I mean, within the first week we had done like $100 a day, and I was so excited. And then like only like 2 weeks ago, when you're just watching the sales go up and up and up, and like you're getting closer to like $1,000 a day in sales, like the feeling is just, it's honestly, it's probably one of the best feelings I've felt. And then the other day when I hit my record, um and when I hit my max sales per day, it was like 1.6K, and I was actually just so excited, so happy just watching it go up and up, and just knowing that like I'm providing profits to myself, that like at the end of the day, this money is going to me, and I'm not working for a boss. I'm not working for someone else. Like I'm in charge here, and I get to keep the profits, and what I'm doing is because of me. So I guess the feeling when you just see your sales, see your sales go up and your store doing well, it's a pretty nice feeling. And just knowing
Yeah.
at the end of the day that it's like it's me who's doing it, obviously with your help, but like I'm not making that money for someone else and making
Yeah.
them rich. Like
Mhm.
I'm bettering myself and my future.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. I had the like a very similar experience when it started to work with me. It was like in the beginning, it was like a disbelief. Like I didn't really believe that this is even real, that this is gonna keep going like this. But yeah, it's a game changer. You know, right now from this point where you just like kind of feel the success, you understand that this is possible.
Mhm.
There's no coming. There's no going back. Basically now, if you compare this to going back to a regular job, it's like complete night and day difference.
Yeah, like I don't think after seeing the success I've had so far with this store, I actually don't think I'd ever be able to go back and just like do a 9 to 5, work for minimum wage, making someone else rich, and just like kind of hating my life. At least with this now, I can work from home. This is my office. I get to work from here, and I'm at the end of the day, the money I make, I get to keep, which is pretty good. And I guess another great thing is like I can work my own hours.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of an early morning person, so like I like to get up at like say maybe 7, and then like by half 7 or 8 o'clock I can start my day,
Mhm.
and I can work, and I don't have to take a half an hour break at 10 o'clock, and that's my only break for the day. Like I don't have to sit in traffic for an hour to get to work. I can just come up in the morning, get up, get my coffee, and come into the office and turn on my laptop and start making
Mhm.
money. So I don't think I could ever see myself going back to a regular 9 to 5 job.
Yeah, yeah, that's the danger in it.
Mm.
Now you're really into it. Now there's no going
Mm.
back. So there's basically two kind of things which are there, which you're gonna have to overcome from now. So it's
Mhm.
two things. Number one is, for example, for me, what I've seen in the early stages of finding the first winner, it is so easy to do nothing else than just looking at your sales. And
Mhm.
probably you're also like a victim of that. Like you just
Yeah.
look at your sales, you update the screen, you checks like 10 times a day, when in reality that's unproductive. That's just like,
Yeah.
if you're honest, it's just doing bullshit, you know? And that happened to me. And I remember that I didn't do anything, but I was sitting there in front of my laptop for 8 hours and checking the ads, doing this, when in reality I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So that's like one big thing which is going to be kind of the next problem you have to overcome. And the other thing is going to be getting comfortable. So it's so important. And I've also like, that's also kind of there's always drop-offs. There's one drop-off where, okay, finding the first winning product, there's a high drop-off of people who never do that, and they're
Mhm.
basically done. Then the second drop-off after you have that winner is that you are not productive and you don't test the next things. And that's also a huge drop-off where people, they find the winning product and then they basically rely that it's going to keep doing well, and they get comfortable and they don't really test the next things. So those two things are going to be really important for you. You have to for sure take your time and actually put it into the growth of the stores and growth of next stores, instead of just like doing unproductive things which feel really good.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of already there at the moment, and hearing you say it has just kind of made me realize that,
Yeah.
oh crap, I'm kind of just like I check my sales like probably 20 times a day, just hoping that they go up.
Yeah.
And I suppose I'm probably getting a little bit comfortable now, and I need to start getting the wheels back in motion and finding winning product number 2 and number 3. And I guess one thing that kind of maybe has me feeling a little bit comfortable, I guess would probably be my cash flow situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess just in the back of my mind, it feels like, oh, well, I don't have enough necessary cash there to start the next store.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's probably the wrong mindset to have, because
Well,
like,
in your case, it's kind of true that you don't
mhm,
want to go crazy on testing new products because you need that cash flow. Like that money is better invested in testing like new things on this store because it's already working well.
mhm.
However, you can prepare the next things already. That's
Yeah, I
what.
guess that's probably what I'm not doing. Like, I'm just, because in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, I haven't got the cash flow, so I guess I'll just leave it until it's there. Where that's probably the wrong attitude. I should probably have a couple of products lined up and like who my competitors are, what ads I could possibly use, who my target customers are. Kind of doing all the steps I did
Mhm.
to when I found this winning product. So I guess that's one thing I definitely need to improve on, is to stop spending so much of my day looking at my sales.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. So basically, the main thing is going to be like I told you with like in the past calls, the custom content for the current product is going to be really important. So you have to focus on that, and also focus on preparing the next tests, similar products, similar upsells, similar like products in the niche is also going to be really important, because if you say like if you build up your pixel, which you currently have, it's going to be much easier to test the next product at the same time. It's going to be way easier to test like the next things constantly on the same niche, and you have a good niche, like it's pretty broad, so it's not going to be saturated quick. Basically, even though the cash flow is done, still you have a lot of things to do. And for example, my little brother, I remember when he had like a Facebook problem for 2 weeks. He basically, those 2 weeks he couldn't test anything. He was completely blocked. He couldn't do anything. Okay, officially that means that you cannot do anything. However, he prepared, I think, 12 products to test. So he
Well,
basically had 12 products ready to go. When he got unblocked, he just like got
yeah,
crazy with testing everything, and that's
yeah.
kind of the same situation you're in, because right now, like he didn't have Facebook, you don't have the cash flow. So that means that right now you have to focus on creating everything possible to make your life easier when you have the cash flow, because right now you're still like you're even, because you're even hungrier than when you're going to have the cash flow, then it's going to be harder to get yourself up to work. So yeah, right now you need to prepare the next things. It's really, really important.
Oh yeah, 100%. I definitely agree. Like, I need to get off my arse and start get off my arse and start doing the next steps, just so that when the cash flow is sorted, I can just go pop, 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 and then everything else is just lined up and ready.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. But for you, except for the things we already talked about, would you say there's other obstacles you're currently facing, or is cash flow the main thing?
Um, I guess cash flow is probably the main thing, just because like as soon as I get money in, it's constantly going back out to pay suppliers and up my ad spends. So that's kind of annoying. And then I guess my only other main issue would probably just that I'm kind of getting a little bit too comfortable now. I'm
Mhm.
kind of like I mentioned earlier on, and you mentioned, I'm at the stage now where I'm doing 1K a day pretty much every day, and I'm starting to think, oh, that's like 30K a month. I can relax now. I can take the foot off the gas, when at the end of the day, I can't really, because I'm not in the position, because like the store could just die at any point. So I need to have everything else set up that if the scenario happens, and like touch wood it doesn't, that if the store just dies, then I could happily just set up another store in the same day and get the sales generating again. I guess that's probably the main biggest issue. And because if there's any small minute details, I can always just reach out to yourself, and you're always here to help. I mean, if I ever have an issue, I just send you a text, and the same day you give me an answer and tell me what to do. So I guess that they're probably just the two biggest issues I have: cash flow and being too comfortable.
Yeah, yeah. But even the thing you just said is also like I would change that the way of thinking a little bit, because what you just said was okay. Basically, 1K a day means 30K a month. It doesn't. It doesn't mean that. It means that you make 30K in sales, but in your head, 30K are the 30K. So I would not look at revenue at all. Like revenue doesn't mean anything, and the only thing you have to look at is the profit. So 30K in your case is probably going to be like around 6K per month profit, which is great, but it's already lower than the thing you had in your head before.
Yeah,
So that's
definitely.
less of a reason to be comfortable. And on top of that comes that's like, if you don't do the right things, it's not going to be stable. So it's really, really important to keep being disciplined here and keep going in the same thing.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. And like, it's even crazy just to think that if the store does 1K a day and like that's around 6K profit, like compared to most jobs, that's still like crazy numbers. I mean, in my old job, I was coming out with like maybe 2 to 3 thousand euros per month, and like if I just keep the store keeps doing what it's doing now, I've pretty much doubled my take-home pay, which is just crazy to admit. After 2 months, I'm already at this stage, and it's not my final stage. Like I don't want to just leave it here at 1K a day and say that's it and like that's me done. I want to get to like where 1K in profit per day, 10K sales, 100K months, and hopefully down the road doing like years where I'm doing like, let's say 1-2 million. Sure, like what's stopping me?
Yeah,
nothing really.
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy to think about it. Like if you put it into perspective and you think how long it would take for you to be in your job making 2 to 3K to actually get a raise to 6K, it will be years, right?
Years. In my old job, I worked in a hospital and I worked with the government. So like there was no asking for pay rise. It was kind of like 2 to 3K a month. That's it, done. Unless you're going to do lots of overtime to increase your pay. That's it. Where like, I mean, the work to reward ratio, like my old job compared to this, is just crazy. Like
And
crazy.
how much do you work right now? Like two questions. Number one is how much do you work for the money you make right now, and number two is how much do you work in general, like for dropshipping?
Well, I guess for dropshipping, I guess maybe every day I'd probably spend anywhere from maybe 3 to 5 hours per day doing like dropshipping. But I say even just at that, a lot of that would probably be unproductive time spent. I guess I'd come on and kind of I have like my set things to do. Because I'm just working by myself, I'll check my emails, respond to customer queries, check my ads, run new ads, kill what's not working, just basically review my ads. I'll then go onto Facebook, reply to comments on my Facebook profiles, try grow some social media, post every day throughout the day. And then I guess I'd chat with my supplier about any issues that could be in regards to like customer complaints or not getting the right products. I'll do, I suppose a lot of the days is spent doing a lot of customer service and getting back to people. And then, I'm now that I say it, I realize that I'm not being as productive. I'm not getting like I'm not getting the next products lined up and getting ready to pull the trigger on the next ones. So I guess even in my like 3 to 5 hours per day, I could probably be a lot more productive and do a lot more things that would get me to 1K per day in profits sooner than I actually am. But I guess that boils down to just me looking at my phone and getting comfortable now at where I am.
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, the replying to customers and replying to Facebook comments and all of that, right now, it's actually the time to outsource it slowly. So if you want, I can give you a couple of contacts there. But besides that, it's going to be pretty quick for you to get that outsourced. It's a pretty easy process. And then the time is going to go drastically lower. So you say 3 to 5 hours per day. If you're being honest, how much of that time? Let's say you're super busy today, the whole day you don't really have time to do anything. How much would you still invest to make the same amount of money?
What do you mean?
So if you would, for example, today have like only 1 hour to work, the other time you don't have any time.
Okay.
Would you be still doing the same 1K plus a day, or would it go down?
Probably still the same. I guess I could probably, the stuff that probably needs to be done, I could probably get done in an hour or less. I would just like to sit at the laptop, procrastinate, and drag out the day by replying to comments and getting back to customer queries. Where the things that are actually going to move the needle, I could probably come on and get them done in like an hour or less.
Yeah.
which is actually another benefit I got from the course. Like before, like where I'm at now, compared I was like 2 months ago, even like I would have spent hours and hours of the day like focusing on like what my ads aren't working, like what to say back to people, like these tiny things. Where like from the 2 months I've started working with you, it's like the time to do them has dramatically decreased. So like what used to take me like maybe 2 or 3 hours a couple of months ago, maybe takes me like now less than half an hour. It's just like working with yourself is just like streamlined the whole process dramatically.
Yeah, I
The,
appreciate it. Yeah,
yeah,
but
like
it is the case. It is the case
mhm,
because it's basically focusing on the most important, like the Pareto principle. Everybody knows, like 20% of the work gives you 80% of the results. It's just true, you know.
mhm.
And that's exactly my point here. For example, if you right now would just cut your time into like 30 minutes a day or an hour a day, you will probably get the same things done, except for the customer support and all of that, which is easily outsourced.
Oh,
And
100%.
then you basically have 1 hour per day in work, and the rest of the time you could either have free time or actually work on
I
finding
know, yeah, it's
testing the next
crazy.
product. Yeah.
It's crazy. Just like 1 hour a day. Like I'm at the stage now where I'm like realistically working 1 hour a day of like stuff that needs to be done. And
Yeah.
I'm earning more than I did in a full day's work in my old job. So like it's just crazy. Just after 2 months, this is the stage I'm at now. So I'm very excited to see where I'll be in the next 2 months and 6 months and in a year's time.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, but that's exactly why like people who have their own business get paid more. It's only because of the risk you took by
Mhm.
doing this, you know. This like there's no guarantee that this works. You can still
No, no.
mess up and basically not make money with dropshipping. Doesn't matter even if you do it with me. If you don't do the things that I'm going to tell you, it's not going to work, right?
Oh,
So
100%.
basically, the guarantee is already gone. And for example, the work you had before that for the government, it was pretty stable. It was way
Mhm.
more stable than the thing you're having right now.
Mhm.
However, it's completely different because that's exactly the risk and reward thing. If you do have the courage to actually take the risk, the reward can be so much higher, and that's the main reason why people who have their own business either get paid way more or way less. So
Mhm.
there's no like middle ground. Normally in dropshipping, also, I don't really know anybody who makes like 3K profit per month consistently. I don't know those people. It's
Mhm.
either like at least 5 to 15K profit or nothing, or
Yeah.
even, you know, but there's no like middle ground. Either it works and you do the right things or it doesn't. And
Yeah.
also if it does work, then it's going to be like 1 month, 2 months of like good numbers, and then it goes down if you don't do the right things. So yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I guess that will happen. I guess like you grow and grow until you get comfortable, and then it's when you get comfortable that things start to drop and dip.
Yeah.
So I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, and then also there are some like lucky cases. I have like a couple of students who are super comfortable, but it still worked, you know. But it's only because the comfort came later.
Yeah.
I have a couple of people who are sitting like at 10 to 15K per month profit, and they're
Hmm.
comfortable there. However, they're still already they did everything to manage that. Like you can sometimes you can decide to keep doing 10 to 15K and you don't want to grow after that, and
Hmm.
you can kind of pull it off if you have the right systems, if you have the right people like next to you, if you have a good employees in every field. As you said, like 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours max per day are enough to keep the numbers you're doing.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
if you have the right people to like find like influencers for you, get custom content for you, make the ads for you, do the product research for you, do everything for you, you can manage that. But
Hmm.
then you have to like be comfortable with you not growing anymore so much in this area. Now, obviously, if you want to be like I don't know, like if you're super passionate about surfing, if you want to go to the
Yeah.
sea and do surfing, then go for that. Like you don't have to grow in the business field, grow in the surfing field by all means, but you have to like you have to be accountable, because most people don't like understand, okay, right now I'm comfortable, I'm not going to do active work for dropshipping, I'm going to actively go surfing. What they do is I'm going to passively do dropshipping and think they're active. Like they refresh the Shopify dashboard, they do things which are not necessary and think
Hmm.
they're productive when in reality they're not. So it's really important to be like accountable and understand what you're doing. And if you're doing the right things, then great. And if you also decided for yourself that you don't need more than like X amount of money per month, then that's also fine. But you have to decide that and really actively understand it. Because
Yeah,
yeah,
I 100% agree with you. Like it's crazy. Like even your students who are doing like 10 to 15k day like 10 to 15k per day profit. Like I imagine some of them were in the situation per month. I imagine like some of them were in the same situations as me. You know, working a dead end job, 9 to 5, like 2 to 3 grand a month. That's it. Where like now after like working with yourself, they've put themselves in the position where like they're earning like 10k per month profit. Like that's over 100k per year.
yeah,
Like people go to college and they don't even like earn close to that. And like they spend what, maybe 2 to 3 hours max per day actually on the store, and then that gives them time to do like whatever they want. Like if they want to start a cooking blog, they can just focus all their time on cooking, or they could travel the world, or they can like do things that like never would have been possible unless they actually took the risk, quit their job, and pursued their own dreams and passions.
yeah, 100%, exactly. And that's also like a really big reason for me to do the whole thing, because a lot of
Mhm.
people ask me when I like when they don't get started yet, and we basically have our first consultation call, they ask me, hey, why are you even doing this? You're making enough money with dropshipping. If you are actually making enough money with dropshipping, why are you doing coaching?
Mhm.
And that's the answer. I genuinely enjoy helping people doing the same thing as I do.
Mhm.
And if I make good money, because I'm going to be honest about it, like I'm making good money with the coaching as well. Obviously,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
like I helped you, and you understand that it makes sense to keep working with me. And I have way bigger programs which are more expensive, and you
Yeah.
know that it makes sense to go to the next program because you're going to make more than the product
Mhm.
program costs. And yeah, it's
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely a question I had as well for you at the start. Like, why would you, if you're actually doing what you say you're doing, why would you spend like your free time helping other people? But
Mhm.
I definitely can see the reward of like what you get out of it. And like my initial fears of like giving that lump sum over to you, like because that was more money than I even had at the
Yeah,
time, was what I
yeah,
paid you to like work with you. And like now, like you, I have like no questions or second thoughts or regrets about doing it. Like, I mean, if I never agreed to actually commit myself financially and take that risk, well, then I'd still be working my dead end job, doing the same thing. Where like now, because I'm still working with you, I'm setting myself up to be like financially free, time free, and basically building the life I want for myself. So I suppose anyone who maybe feels like, oh, this is a lot of money to actually give, if you're willing to give up that money and put in the work necessary and do the things you say, like then it will definitely pay off 100%.
yeah, for
100%.
sure, for sure. And for me also, like again, like I just love seeing things like that. I see that
Mm-hmm.
okay, you're right now already making more money than you did with your job before, and we have so many people like that where I like it's more fulfilling to me than selling like dropshipping products at the moment. I love dropshipping, I love doing dropshipping, but at the moment I feel like the coaching part I enjoy that even more just because I can give the same thing to other people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
Oh no,
but
100%. Like it's
yeah.
amazing after 2 months, just like the position I'm in now, just like crazy. I
Yeah,
never like would have thought my wildest dreams after just 2 months. This is where I am.
yeah, yeah. But I remember the first time we talked, I saw that we texted like a year ago already.
Yeah.
What
Um.
happened there?
So I actually heard about you from like a mutual friend on Facebook. Conrad, his name was. I got chatting to him through one of the ecom groups on Facebook like a year ago. And so we had been back and forth texting each other on Facebook. And then he was like, oh, you seem like you're pretty interested. I've just started working with Michael and my stores kind of took off. And so I think we texted like last year. And I guess, I just didn't pull the trigger and I was hesitant. And then, so a year had passed and I'd reached out to Conrad again to see how he was doing. And he's like, oh yeah, my life is like, I'm doing great. My store is doing like 200k a day. And I was like, what?
A month.
A month to sorry, a day. He was like doing 200k per month. And I was like, what? Crazy. And working with Michael. And he was like, yeah. And so that's when I just decided, like, if after a year's time, some guy who's in the same position as me is doing 200k revenue, 200k in sales per month, then like I'd be crazy not to not to actually reach out. And so I scraped all the money I could together, and I pulled the trigger and I took action, and it's all paying off now. So it's probably one of the best decisions I've taken so far in my adult life.
Yeah, really appreciate it, bro. Also, like, imagine what would happen if 1 year ago, the first time we texted, you
I
would
know.
already started there.
I always think about that. Like, what if I didn't go back to my job? Like, where would I be after a year's time?
Yeah.
Like, I like, could I be like Conrad? But sure, we're working together now, so I'm happy that we're working together. And I guess like a year's time, I want to be doing like at least 200K in sales per day. So that's kind of my target. If he can do it in a year, then why can't I do it in a year? So I've 10 months left.
Yeah, 200K per month again, but yeah.
200K per month.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. And that's for everybody listening right now. Like, you have to understand, you have to put yourself in the same position here. If you're not sure about starting e-commerce or dropshipping in general, then you have to understand what you're missing out on if you're going to be sure in a year. Because to be honest here, a year ago will be easier for you, Sean, to make the same numbers than now. It will be easier. And also in 1 year, it's going to be harder than it is now. So dropshipping is constantly getting tougher and tougher and tougher for beginners. So if you are actually interested in doing dropshipping and doing e-commerce and doing the same thing as we described here, then what you can do right now is click the link below, sign up for a free consultation session. And basically we're going to have like a one-on-one call with me personally. We're going to find out if we're a good fit. And if yes, then we can actually get started. So honestly, like, if you are interested, then do that, because there is no other way than basically having a person who's going to help you. And if you're probably going to quit. You saw it with yourself, like a year ago. If we would have already started there, then you would have for sure done dropshipping, because you already committed to dropshipping. You know, right now, there's no other way. You actually, you put in way more time right now. And same thing goes for everybody. Don't feel like, okay, I'm motivated to do this. If I'm not 100% sure if I even want to do this, then taking something like this on, because it's a commitment, you have to pay for it, is already a game changer, because you understand now that now I have to actually do this. And it's really important here. Maybe as one last thought, what would you tell to like a beginner? What advice would you give them if they're just starting out with dropshipping? What would you tell them?
I guess to tell them would probably be to get a mentor. Like, I'm not saying this to like sell people or anything, but like, even like from when I started working with you, it's just crazy what's actually changed than from what I was doing myself. I mean, you can try to do it yourself, and in some cases you're going to like shoot at a target, and sometimes you'll hit it and sometimes you'll miss. And like, you can just waste hundreds and hundreds of dollars down the drain. Or if you decide to actually work with someone like yourself, it doesn't have to be you, it can be anyone, but like, if you find someone to mentor you, they have already gotten to where you want to be, so they can stop you from like falling in the pits, avoiding things that you might have done that would result in like delays or blockages or your account being banned. Their guidance and advice can basically say, oh, hold up, don't do this, you're going to get banned, do this instead. And then that in the long run would save you like hundreds of dollars and days and weeks of time wasted. So I'd say, like, beginning out, I definitely, if you have the money to invest in getting a mentor and someone who is where you want to be, then 100% do it. I mean, if I could go back to myself a year ago and speak to myself, I'd say, don't not text Michael back.
Yeah.
Because I think I don't think I texted you back. I think I just exited the chat.
No, I remember.
And,
I looked at it. Yeah, you did. But at least now you understand. And by the way, like, for everybody watching this, I didn't tell you to say that, because the last couple of people who I also interviewed said the same thing. That's like, I don't give any instructions. That's like from your side. Yeah.
No, he's not. He's not forcing me to do it. I'm saying it
Yeah.
because I genuinely believe. I genuinely believe that the best way to get to like 10K a day sales is to genuinely find someone who's been there before you and just follow their advice. I mean, it's like everything in life. If you want to be someone who climbed Mount Everest, you go talk to someone who's already done it and you take their guidance and advice and you listen to what they have to say. I mean, you're not going to climb it by yourself.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay, bro, really appreciate it. Really appreciate your time. Thanks for having you here. And yeah, looking forward
No
to
problem, Michael.
see where
My
you're going to
pleasure.
be here.
All
For
right.
sure.
Chat
Okay,
soon,
take
brother.
care. Yeah, bye-bye.